You can, use it for runner's knee is kind of a catch-all term for knee pain in runners. And so, if you think you have that, then give these a try and see if it helps. I'm Steph. I'm a physical therapist and a run coach. I created this group as well as the website and company PT to go because I want to help beginner runners or beginner again runners learn how to love running, learn how to get into it safely, and get faster without getting hurt.
Hey beginner runners, check out the link in the description below to download your free beginner's running guide today.
So that's what today is about. And I also want to start this off with this is not medical advice. This is not meant to be to help diagnose anything, not meant to take the place of any rehab plan you have in place. So if you are injured, please seek medical advice on that. This is simply a way to help your body recover from your workouts, your runs, from what you're putting it through, and a way to help prevent injuries from occurring. So I'll use myself as an example, and I'm going to do all of these on my right or on my left knee. And because I have been having just kind of a little bit of like achiness on the inside of my knee when I run, sometimes later on in the day, especially if I've been sitting a little bit with it bent, like it just kind of feels sore. So to me, that's telling me that something is going on in my leg, and it likely has to do with areas that are getting tight or weak areas or something like that. So that tells me, is my body telling me that I should do something about this now before I just let it go and then it turns into maybe something more serious and irritated and painful and inflamed and something that I have to actually take time off of running for. So that is kind of what you should be using this for. You can, use it for not only knee pain here, but, anywhere around the knee necessarily. Runner's knee is kind of a catch-all term for knee pain in runners. And so, if you think you have that, then give these a try and see if it helps. So that was another thing I would say is if you guys try this out, if you're having knee problems, achiness or anything like that with your running, give this routine a try. This is new. I'm just kind of creating it. And so I'm curious to know if it actually helps. So I know it helps me, but I like to know if it's helping other people too. So after you try it, if you can, either shoot me a message or comment below and let me know if it is helpful. So I also want to say I got this idea from this book, Core Performance Endurance, that somebody gave me at work. And it's a fantastic book. There's great tips, great ideas, and it's really geared towards any endurance sport. So cycling, swimming, or running. And they have these ideas. You can see all my bookmarks in there. These regeneration days, they call them. And so just these workouts that they have their athletes do on recovery days. And it's not a workout, but it's foam rolling and it's stretching and it's self-massage. So that is the routine I'm going to throw at you today to try. So I'm going to run through it. It shouldn't take too long, you guys. I do these sometimes when I'm watching movies with my kids or whenever I have time, a few minutes before bed, something like that. I don't set aside specific time to do these, but I do think it's really important to get them in. For knee pain, we want to make sure we loosen up things at the hip, throughout the upper leg, as well as the lower leg, because that knee, again, is kind of slammed in the middle of our foot and ankle joint and our hip joint. So it basically has to deal with everything that's going on either end. So we're going to start with our foam roll. All I have with me here is my foam roll, and you could have a shorter one, that would be okay. I have a tennis ball, and then I have a strap. And this is my yoga strap, but you could use a scarf or a belt or something like that. And that's just for some active isolated stretching that I'm going to do at the end. So again, I'm going to start on my left leg, and I'm going to start at my my butt muscle here, my piriformis. So what I'm going to do is cross my left over my right, kind of target these side hip muscles. So I'm just going to roll on that for a little bit, maybe 30 seconds to a minute. And it's tight, it's sore. Now I'm only going to be doing this on my left side today, but I would strongly encourage you guys to do them on both sides, not only to help with recovery, but also to see what differences you feel. So is this area more tender on the side where you're having pain versus the other side? Those kind of things will tell you, and you should keep track of and remind yourself that you should work on these a little bit more than the other side. So I'm just kind of rocking back and forth on that butt muscle with weight on my hand and weight on my other foot. So I do feel that starting to loosen up a little bit. So I'm going to move on to my IT band, which is, I have found for myself, a huge indicator of knee pain. If my IT band gets really tight, then I will start to have some pain in my knee. So that's cue for me to get it loosened up. So for that, I'm going to extend my bottom leg, and I'm going to just roll up and down along that whole IT band. And I'm going to roll forward and back a little bit too, because you're going to find areas that are tender through there as well, kind of in the front of the IT band and in the back of it as well. Again, 30, 60 seconds. If you find areas that are real sore, you can kind of hold on them and loosen them up. That does not feel good. Whew. Okay. I never like that one, but it is a good one. Okay, then we're going to go down to the calf. And a couple different ways you can do this. Slide this way. So I can have my other foot down, or I can have both feet on. You're not going to get quite as much. To get the most pressure, you cross over the other one. And then roll up and down. Rotate side to side. Because there's lots of dimension to the calf muscle. If you run more kind of on your forefoot, midfoot, I'd make sure to get down lower here. That's your soleus. When I was rolling the other day, that's what I found was really tight on me on both sides. So it's not as bad today. So we're going through all those areas. Okay. Then we are going to get the front of the thigh, the quad muscle. I'm going to flip to my tummy. And so I have a mic because I don't like to talk loud when I'm farther away from my camera. Okay, so I'm going to go on my quad down here. Again, I'm kind of off weighting with my other leg and my arms, rotating my leg in and out. And if you don't feel much, don't worry about doing a lot. Okay, I don't feel a ton there. Then I'm gonna go to my VMO, it's called. And that's this area right here on the inside of your knee, just at the top part. And I hadn't really honestly thought about this area much. It's kind of an area that doesn't tend to be an issue, but after I looked at this book and I saw they were doing a release to this, I started kind of poking around on my own, and I was like, that kind of is sore, you know? So maybe was, causing some problems here. So it's maybe an area I've been overlooking for years. So I wanted to make sure to get that going today. And so for this one, they're actually laying down, and they've got the foam roll on that area on the VMO, and then they're just extending and straightening their leg with the foam roll on that spot. If it's tight, it's probably gonna be sore. I don't feel much there, to be honest. So we're not gonna do any more of that. Okay. One other area is the hamstrings that I did not get with my foam roll. So again, on the hamstrings, and those are a little sore. So I'm just gonna go back and forth here, rotate side to side a little bit till I get that nice and loosened up. Okay, and you don't want to go right over the knee, back of the knee, because that is a real tender spot. So, okay. Now I'm going to grab my tennis ball, and we're going to go over a few of those points again. One in particular is the IT band, and this is just kind of a little bit more passive way to get that loosened up. So I'm going to kind of roll around till I find a spot that's pretty tender, and I'm going to kind of sit here for a little bit. So this is called self-trigger point release. And so what you're doing is you're finding a trigger point in your muscle, and you hold pressure on it for, again, 30 to 60 seconds. And that encourages it to release, those tight muscles to release, and obviously cause less pain and improved function in them. So kind of roll around till you get some relief through there. You can lay, like I could lay down too and just lay with this there. If you've got a firmer chair, you know, you could sit with it as well. That would be okay. Okay. Then I'm going to try this on my VMO also. So I'm going to go back to my laying position, and I'm going to put that ball right under that area. And so then there I'm able to find an area that's a little tender. So I'm going to roll a little bit on it. Again, it's not an area that oh yeah, that's pretty sore, that I typically will work on, that I have in the past, but again, I think I've overlooked it, so I'm glad I learned about it. Okay, so that's my tennis ball ones. Then I'm going to grab my strap, and we're going to do what are called active isolated stretching. So they're active, we're going to be moving and not holding them, but the strap is going to help us isolate and get a little bit deeper stretch with them. So I'm going to start on my back. I'm going to start with the hamstring, and again, I'm just going to do my left leg. I would encourage you to do both. And I'm just going to loop the strap around my foot and hold on with my arms. And so what I'm going to do is have my knee to my chest, and without moving my knee from my chest, I'm just going to straighten my leg as much as I can. And I'm going to pull a little with the belt for about 2 seconds, and then I'm going to relax back down. And I'm going to do that 10 times. Trying to stretch, pull with the belt a little bit to get a little deeper stretch, and down. So I'm feeling that in my hamstring as I go up and straighten. I think that's 3. Oh, and this leg is supposed to be down straight, sorry. Because that will give you a deeper stretch in the hamstring, but also in the front of your thigh. So yeah, that definitely changes it. Little pull. Up, little pull. Push straight. That's 7. 8. 9. And 10. Okay. going to loop, I gotta think a sec, this way. Loop this around here because we're going to be stretching the outside of our legs. So I'm gonna back up here. So this leg is gonna stay straight. This leg is going to actively cross over this way. Straight down here. Okay, so this is gonna come over. I'm just gonna pull a little, couple seconds to kind of stretch everything out up through here. That's 2. 3. 4. Got one more after this one and then we're done. 5. 6. 7. I do feel a little stretch. It's not too bad though. 8. I'm bringing my leg across as far as I can and then giving a little pull with my belt. One more here. Okay. All right, and then the last one is in kneeling, so I don't need the belt. I'm stretching my left, so I'm going to leave that one back and bring the other one forward. And I'm going to tuck my tailbone under a little bit. So like if I had a tail, I'm tucking that under. And I'm just going to lean forward a little bit. And I'm just going to rest this hand here. And my movement is I'm just going to deepen that stretch. And I'm feeling that all front of the thigh, top of my my hip. This is for the hip flexor. So I'm going to lean forward a little for 2 seconds and back off. And try to deepen that every time. I'm still maintaining my core so that I can isolate this area. Lean forward and back off. It's about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And if you have some issues with the knee on carpet like this, you could pat it. You could put a pillow or something underneath it, but there we go. So that is your knee routine for any kind of knee soreness going on. So give that a try and let me know if it's helpful. Obviously, if you have an injury, that's different. If you've got weakness or alignment issues, again, that's another problem. But this is if it's just purely from the repetition and the pounding and things are getting tight and a little off balance. This will help that tissue to recover and realign, and that will help make you more efficient and better at recovering and not have any pain. So again, it has been helping mine. I know anyways that my T-band gets tight and I do start to have some knee problems. But it's nice to explore some of these other areas that I didn't know were tight and sore, but obviously could cause a problem down the road. So have a great day, everybody. Let me know how the routine goes, and if it's helpful, please comment, and I can do more of these. Have a great run, everybody, and we'll see you later.